The day he almost gave up. What if the moment you feel like quitting is actually the moment right before everything changes? Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they stop one step too early. This is the story of a man who almost quit, just days before his life completely transformed. And if you listen carefully, you might recognize yourself in him. His name was Daniel. He wasn't special, at least that's what everyone told him. No money, no connections, no talent that stood out. Just an ordinary boy living in an ordinary town where dreams were considered a luxury. Every day, Daniel watched people settle. Get a job, be realistic, don't aim too high. That was the message he heard everywhere. But inside him, something refused to stay small. At night, he would lie on his bed staring at the ceiling, imagining a different life. A life where he didn't have to ask permission to dream. A life where he could change his family's future. But there was one problem. He had no idea how to get there. And that gap between dream and reality started to feel impossible. At 19, Daniel decided to change his life. He started his first online business. No experience, no guidance, just hope. For weeks, he worked non-stop. He slept late, woke up early, watched tutorials, built websites, tried everything he could learn. And then, nothing happened. No customers, no sales, no response, just silence. And silence is louder than failure. Because failure at least feels like something is happening. But silence makes you question everything. One night, Daniel sat in front of his laptop and whispered, "Maybe I'm not meant for this." That was the first time he felt it. The thought of quitting didn't scare him anymore. It started to feel comfortable. A few weeks later, reality hit harder. Bills piled up. His savings disappeared. Friends stopped asking about his dream. Even family conversations changed. Now it was, "When will you get a real job?" One evening, Daniel closed his laptop slowly. No energy left, no motivation, no hope. He stood up, looked at himself in the mirror, and said something quietly. "I tried, and it wasn't enough." That night, he made a decision. He would quit in the morning. Not because he hated his dream, but because he couldn't carry the weight anymore. He went to bed early. For the first time in months, he slept peacefully. Because giving up felt like relief. But sometimes, life doesn't let you quit that easily. Because the next morning, something unexpected happened. Something that would completely change the direction of his life. Daniel woke up and checked his phone one last time before quitting. There was one notification, one message, from an unknown email. It said, "Hey, I saw your work. It's not perfect, but it has potential. Don't stop now." No name, no details, just that. Daniel stared at it for a long time. Something strange happened inside him. Not motivation, not excitement, but confusion. Someone saw my effort when I thought no one was watching. For the first time in weeks, he didn't feel completely invisible. And that tiny feeling became dangerous. Because once you feel even a small spark of hope, quitting becomes harder. Daniel sat back down, opened his laptop. His cursor hovered over the "delete everything" folder. This was it, the final decision. 5 minutes passed, then 10. He didn't move, because now the thought of quitting didn't feel peaceful anymore. It felt permanent. And permanent decisions are heavy. He whispered to himself, "What if I just try one more time? Not forever, not a big commitment, just one more time." And that one sentence changed everything. That night, Daniel didn't become successful. Nothing magically changed, but something inside him did. He didn't quit, and that single decision set in motion a chain of events he could never have imagined. In part 2, you'll see how that one more time turned into everything he ever dreamed of. And why most people fail right before their breakthrough. The next morning, nothing extraordinary happened. Daniel didn't wake up rich. He didn't receive hundreds of customers. He didn't become an overnight success. He simply got out of bed and worked. One more day, then another, and another. Slowly, something began to change. Not around him, inside him. He stopped asking, "When will I succeed?" Instead, he asked, "How can I become better today?" That one question changed everything. Because success doesn't begin when the world notices you. It begins when you stop needing the world's approval to keep going. Here's what nobody tells you. The greatest victories don't start with a breakthrough. They start with a routine. For the next year, Daniel lived a life that looked completely ordinary. He woke up before sunrise. He exercised. He read for 30 minutes every day. He learned one new skill each week. He improved his work little by little. Nobody clapped. Nobody shared his progress. Nobody called him successful. In fact, most people still believed he was wasting his time. But Daniel had learned something powerful. People judge what they can see. Success is built by what no one sees. Every early morning, every late night, every sacrifice, every rejection, those invisible moments were building a person capable of achieving visible results. One afternoon, Daniel received an email. This time, it wasn't encouragement. It was an opportunity. A company wanted to hire him for a project. It wasn't $1 million contract. It wasn't life-changing money. But it was proof that his effort had value. He completed the project. They recommended him to someone else. Then another client came. Then another. Months later, his calendar was full. His income grew. His confidence grew. And suddenly, people started asking the question he hated most. What's your secret? Secret. They called it a secret because they never saw the years of work hidden behind one moment of success. They saw the harvest. They never saw the planting. Be careful. The world often celebrates the result, while ignoring the years it took to create it. Years later, Daniel returned to the same park where he used to sit after every failure. He smiled. Nothing about that bench had changed. But everything about him had. He realized success hadn't given him confidence. The struggle had. Failure hadn't destroyed him. It had introduced him to a stronger version of himself. He remembered the night he almost deleted everything. If he had quit, none of this would have existed. Not because he lacked talent, but because he would have stopped one chapter before the breakthrough. That's when he understood something most people never learn. The hardest part of the journey isn't the work. It's believing your effort matters when you can't yet see the results. So let me ask you something. What if you're only one more attempt away? One more conversation, one more application, one more workout, one more chapter, one more day. Wouldn't it be tragic to quit today? If tomorrow was the day everything finally changed. Right now, someone listening to this is tired. You've been rejected. You've failed. You've doubted yourself more times than you can count. You look at successful people and wonder, why not me? But maybe you're asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, why not me? Ask, what can I do today that my future self will thank me for? Because every great achievement begins with one ordinary decision. The decision to keep going. Remember this, success isn't owned by the smartest. It isn't reserved for the richest. It doesn't belong to the luckiest. Success belongs to the person who keeps showing up, especially on the days when quitting feels easier. Years from now, people may look at your life and call you lucky. Smile, because you'll know the truth. Luck didn't build your future. Your discipline did. Your consistency did. Your courage did. And every time life whispered, give up, you answered, not today. So whatever dream you're carrying, protect it, work for it, fight for it. Because the only dream that is guaranteed to fail is the one you abandon. Your story is still being written. Make the next chapter impossible to forget. Thank you for watching. If this story reminded you to keep going, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And remember, your comeback could begin with the very next step you take. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.